Welcome everyone to today's episode of Flat Tire Dan. As always, I want to start out by thanking everyone who has been viewing and has subscribed and has found us on Instagram, flat_tire_Dan, and has been messaging with us there and has been commenting on the episodes and all that stuff. Like, it's all great, and thank you so much everybody who's been tuning in. Real quick, if all goes well, I will drop this episode today, which is Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I am a father as well, and I'm sure we can agree that for the most part, our children are the biggest blessings that we ever could have wished for. So happy Father's Day to everybody. I mentioned in the last episode that we were going to go riding to a spot that was kind of local to us that we hadn't ridden before, which is surprising because we've been riding here a long time. This weekend here with our off-road stuff. And we were able to get out yesterday. A nice group of us, like 10 of us, 5 machines, 10 people. It was a nice crowd. We had a great day. Weather was great. So before I get into it, I get questions like, how do I find new places to ride, and how do I find out what they're about? So how do I find new places to ride? Mostly social media, mostly like Facebook riding groups, Instagram riding groups, all that kind of stuff. I watch what other people are doing. If it looks interesting to me, then I'll do a little research on my own. Where do I do the research on my own? Mostly I use a website called Rider Planet. They basically have every possible off-roading site available listed, and they are clear and they are concise and they are brief. Like, you go there, you find out what you need, and you're going. Like, you don't have to do a lot of looking and digging. Everything is clear. Everything like you would need as far as like if you need permits or the size of machines allowed or when they're open or whatever. All there on Rider Planet. So I recommend them. So we went yesterday to a place about 2 hours north of us outside of Scranton, Pennsylvania called O&W Trail System. It used to be, years ago, an old railroad bed that wandered through severely rural Pennsylvania, out in the middle of nowhere, beautiful scenery, Pennsylvania. And I think they abandoned it in the 1950s after the coal industry didn't need it anymore, and it became a snowmobiling and an off-roading destination, and Rider Planet will tell you what time of the year you can off-road and what time of the year you can snowmobile there. But it's beautiful. The main trail itself is 30 miles from Scranton, 32 miles, I think, Scranton to right up against the New York State border, and then back. And it's beautiful. It's flat, it's twisty, it's turny, it follows like a river and a creek for a large portion of it. There's all kinds of places to stop along the way and have a picnic lunch and just relax or whatever. And it does meander through a couple towns, which is nice because if you want to go out to lunch, there's places to do that. If you need fuel, there's places to do that. So it wanders through a couple rural towns up there on your way to New York. And that's sort of the main trail. Now, the main trail, it seems like over time people have kind of done some stuff off the main trail, and we did do a little ride in there, and I did get some video of that, of some more challenging stuff, like some more stuff that we're kind of used to with hills and rocks and water crossings and all kinds of stuff. So there's something there for everyone, but the main trail itself is long and twisty and beautiful and flat, and it's really good. I saw a lot of like family environment stuff going on there, you know, with four-seater off-roaders and kids and dogs and everything. It's a great spot for that because you're not getting bounced all over the place or incredibly muddy and dirty, and you can have a nice day out on the trail. And then what I also saw was a lot of like newer riders, like people that were either just getting into it or younger kids, where you can go there and you can kind of use your machine, but you're not being challenged, you know, crazy challenged. And so it's a really good spot for that. And we had a great time, and I took a ton of pictures and I took some video of our day yesterday. One thing I want to touch on, because you'll probably notice in the videos that the trail there kind of allows in spots for us to kind of stretch it out a little bit, you know, let the machine stretch their legs a little bit. And as I was looking at that video, I realized that I don't talk enough about this on the channel with everything that we do. So I do want to get into it a little bit. First of all, you know, if you see that we're kind of getting into some speed stuff, right? Well, know that there's thought that goes into that. Like, we never ever will get into that kind of stuff without kind of being able to see what's ahead for miles. And so everything that you'll see from yesterday, you know, the stuff where we're moving along pretty good, you'll see that the trail is wide and straight for as long as you can see. So you can see what you're coming up on. You can see anybody coming your way for quite some distance. So there's thought that goes into that. We very seldom do it like where there's turns or twists because you don't know what you're coming up on. And the other thing that I wanted to touch on a little bit is that even though it's legal in a lot of places to get into these things and not wear a helmet and not be harnessed in and all that kind of stuff. You will never ever see that on this channel. Me and all my buddies, regardless of what we're riding, we're always wearing helmets, we're always wearing goggles, and we're always harnessed in. Safety is a real priority to us here, and I don't talk about that enough, especially with all the crazy stuff we do. And so I did want to touch on that a little bit today. So when you do see what we're doing, know that there's a lot of thought as far as safety is concerned that goes into it before we actually do it. Even with this thing, like, I mean, obviously I have to wear a life preserver. You know, that's required by law to go out on any public waterway. But, you know, I'm always wearing eye protection. I'm always wearing gloves, and you don't really see it, but from waist down, I'm always in neoprene, you know, to kind of protect myself if I were to fall off the machine. So when you see the stuff that we're doing, and it's reckless and it's fun, and that's why we do it, just understand that we do give it a lot of thought before we do it to make sure that not only we're safe, but that everybody around us is safe, because it really is, that's what it's really about in the end, is everybody kind of going home and having a good, safe day on the trail and being able to, you know, do it again and again. So one more thing before we end this episode. I keep saying I don't do a lot of this, but I have been doing a lot of this. Looking forward a little bit, a company reached out to me of a product that I already used and shown you guys on the channel, and that's all I'm going to tell you. Asked me if I'd be interested in reviewing some of their other products, and certainly, like, if I already used their product and I like their product and I kind of like the vibe of their product, and so they sent me some stuff, and I've got a couple days off. I'm going to take a little bit of time away, but probably in the next week and a half or so, I'm going to start doing some review of the products that they sent me, and I really do think you'll be interested in it, because it is kind of the vibe of the channel, and it sort of falls in line with all the stuff that we do here already. So stay tuned for that. And as always, again, happy Father's Day, everybody. And as always, stay tuned for more content from Flat Tire Dan. We'll see you.